Good morning, dear people. I'm Trina Marlowe, and my pronouns are she, her. Together with Reverend Krista, we welcome you to Eliot. Today's worship team includes choir director Nadia Mattis and pastoral care associate Madeline Harris. Please see her if something is weighing on your heart. Before we begin, we want to extend a special welcome to all of our guests. We're so glad you're here. Today's welcome ambassador is Lynn Murphy. Lynn, there she is, yes. After the service, you'll find Lynn in Adams Hall ready to answer your questions and show you around. Please fill out a guest form so we can stay in touch with you. Or, if your handwriting is as bad as mine, you can go online at the QR code on the screen and in the order of service and fill it out electronically. If you have young children with you this morning and they get restless, you may take them to Adams Hall to scamper about as you watch the service on the big screen. Afterwards, everyone is welcome for coffee and conversation. Just follow the crowd out those doors and to the left and into Adams Hall. If you choose a blue cup, we'll know to welcome you as a guest. Or if you run into any of today's volunteers that are listed at the bottom of your order of service, you might take a minute and tell them thank you. And if you want even more Sunday sociability, you can join us for the virtual coffee hour at 1:30 this afternoon online. You'll find that link in your order of service. Now please join me in our congregational welcome by responding at the end of each statement with, "You are welcome here." If you are black, brown, white, indigenous, APIA, whatever your origins, you are welcome here. If you are an immigrant, a refugee, or a person without documentation, you are welcome here. If you believe in God all the time, some of the time, or none of the time, you are welcome here. If you have a disability, visible or invisible, or are neurodiverse, you are welcome here. If you've been here 100 times or just came today, you are welcome here. If you want for nothing or struggle each day to make it through, you are welcome here. No matter whom you love or your gender identity, you are welcome here. For this is a community of diversity, of love, and of justice, and it is good to be together. Now let us enter into the spirit of worship.
Sometimes we want to walk out, but
Thank you. What a great way to kick off our topic today. The flaming chalice is a symbol of Unitarian Universalism. We light the chalice to signify that we are entering sacred space. Now please rise in body and spirit for our opening hymn, All Will Be Well. Afterwards, please remain standing as we speak our congregational covenant. Together, we speak the congregational covenant. As a free congregation, we promise to one another our mutual trust and support. To create beloved community, we promise to be kinder to each other than we have to be, to listen fully to each other with an open mind and heart, to speak responsibly and respectfully, and to with our church for all members and friends. Thank you. Please be seated. Every week, we share our offertory with a community organization that reflects our values and commitments to service. This month's offering is being shared with Micah, and today we have Mirka Estrada with us to tell us more about their work.
Good morning, everybody. My name is Mirka Estrada. I work at the Migrant and Immigrant Community Action Project, and I want to thank you all so much for the invitation to speak to you all today about the incredible work that my peers are leading at the MICA Project. What makes us particularly special, I feel, is that we are at the intersection of different immigrant justice related things, namely legal services. We stand by our clients during this time when different options for relief are being shut down for them. But we understand that walking with them through this legal path and process is incredibly important for them to have somebody that is on their side. We also support our clients through a slew of other services, namely by helping their children be connected to services that they may be eligible for, helping them get connected to the healthcare that they may need, by walking through them in the process of, being in this world and not understanding the language or what our different practices might be, but being with them through that process. Most importantly, in 2025, we were able to open our advocacy department. It's two amazing people who are leading all our advocacy work, which is where I invite all of you to plug in. Particularly, they're leading incredible organizer series. They're trying to organize neighborhoods and organize this energy and newfound support that a lot of immigrant organizations and immigrants in our community are feeling. So come by to the table outside. I'll have QR codes for how you can connect to their newsletter to learn about what they're doing, how to sign up for their trainings. But I just want to say thank you so much. 2025 was an incredibly difficult year, and 2026 is already starting incredibly hard as well. But the community support has made all the difference in knowing that our neighbors stand beside us. It makes it much easier to head into the work every day. So thank you so much.
Mirka, as we prepare to give, we welcome the presence of the children. You may donate through the plate or by using the QR code on the screen and in your order of service. Or you may text Eliot Shared Plate, all one word, to 73256 with the dollar amount you wish to give. A link in the reply text will take you to our secure platform where you can complete your transaction. Together, young and old, we practice generosity, knowing our gifts create ripples of love and care in our community. Let us be joyful in our generosity. Please join me in dedicating these gifts to the work of the church, which is weaving a tapestry of love and action. We dedicate our lives, and these are offerings.
Good morning. I'd like to invite our children and those who are young at heart forward for a story. And there's no pictures this time, so just let you know. Just words and our imaginations. Is it what? It's a 2-page book. It's just one chapter. Good morning. We are talking about resilience this month. And resilience is like when things get really, really hard and you're feeling kind of low and down about it and tired, that you still find a way to find your strength again, to find your joy again and your hope, and get up and keep living. So this story is about a young monk. A monk is like a holy person, and he's a holy person in the Buddhist faith. This is a Buddhist story. So long ago, in a quiet village, a mountain village, a young monk felt overwhelmed. Storms had battered the fields, and the roof of the small temple was leaking, and every day more people arrived with worries he didn't know how to ease. And one afternoon, the young monk sat with his teacher beside a grove of bamboo. "I don't know what to do. I don't understand," he said. "Everything feels so heavy. I keep trying to be strong, but the storms just keep coming. And I am so worn down, I feel like I'm going to break." The teacher nodded gently and then pointed to the bamboo swaying in the wind. "Watch the bamboo," he said. And as a powerful gust of wind swept down the mountainside, the bamboo stalks bent almost to the ground. But they didn't break. And when the wind passed, they rose again, tall and steady. Many people think being resilient means standing firm against every challenge, the teacher said. But bamboo teaches something different. It doesn't resist the wind. It bends, and then it rises. The teacher brushed aside a leaf and revealed a small green shoot coming up out of the ground. "Look at this," he said, "only a few weeks old, but already reaching upward. It doesn't have to worry about how many storms come or how many will come next. It simply keeps growing toward the light." The young monk touched the tiny stalk and felt its surprising strength. "But teacher," he said softly, "what is this if the storm is too strong? What if we bend so far that we can't rise again?" "That," the teacher said, "is when we rely on the grove." The young monk looked around and suddenly saw what he had missed before. Every bamboo was all connected underneath. And though each stalk looked like it stood alone, under the earth, they were all intertwined and holding on to each other. "When one stalk is weakened," the teacher continued, "all the other stalks help hold it up. So resilience is not a solitary path. Resilience it grows from our connections. It grows from the roots." The wind began to blow again, and the young monk watched the bamboo move together, supporting one another with every sway, and something in him shifted. He felt a sense of strength that wasn't just his own, but it was shared. "Thank you," he said quietly. "I think I understand now." And the teacher smiled. Storms will come again, but with a community of support, so will our rising. And that is the end of the story. And I am coming with you because we are going to have assembly together. And Trina's going to take care of the rest. Let's go.
We live. Now's the time we enter into a time of silence for the prayers and meditations of our hearts. Now, let us speak the names of those we would hold in care. Our prayer today is by Rebecca Savage, Reverend Rebecca Savage. Spirit of life within and around us, be present to our collective yearning for renewal in this moment. Life has become super lifey these days, with the demands and pressures of jobs and roles, the tugs of the heart of people and places we miss and long for, the ways that when so much is asked of us, we crumble just a little bit more each day under the weight of it all. With soul-crushing, devastating news and updates from around the world and in our own communities, the loved ones in our lives hurting and struggling, the ways that we are hurting and struggling. Spirit of life, we pause to acknowledge the many challenges of life and send care and love within and out into the world. We pause to honor and hold space for the struggles we experience in our bodies and in our spirits, and we send love and care to those tender places. Now, let's enter into a time of silence. Now I invite you to speak the names of those you would hold in your hearts. And let us also hold in love the more than 3,800 children who have been arrested by ICE and held in detention camps in the last 12 years, especially the 7 who have died. Together we commit ourselves to ending this state-sanctioned child abuse. May we welcome the abundant mystery, grace, and the power of love that is greater than ourselves to heal and nourish us all. We call upon all the transcendent gifts of renewal to be bestowed upon us for an energized renewal to fill us in all the ways that serve our lagging spirits when our own resilience wanes. We give thanks and gratitude for the sweetness of renewal so that it may linger in us, be amplified and multiplied towards healing and wholeness. In the name of all that is hopeful and holy, may it be so. Our reading today is two excerpts drawn from the book Love and Rage, The Path of Liberation Through Anger, written by Lama Rod Owens, a queer Black Buddhist teacher. Sometimes it is okay to think that our anger is trying to protect us. However, it is more truthful to think that it's actually protecting something else that's a little deeper than that. It's protecting our hurt. It's protecting our broken hearts. The work to turn our attention back to the woundedness is this really intense, profound path of transformation, which just doesn't feel good as just responding to the anger, because the energy of anger makes us feel powerful. And now the second excerpt. I have had to learn to invite my broken heart to dine with me at the table. It is meaningless to run now. My broken heart is not a judgment or a crime. It is a detailed record of how I have tried to meet the violence of the world with as much openness as possible.
Thank you, all of the wonderful musicians today. Thank you. Today we are continuing on the theme of embodying resilience. Resilience is the ability to recover your grounding in the face of hardship, whether that be disappointment or despair, injustice or cruelty or loss, all of the things that make life hard, overwhelming, and lead us to doubt in our ability to survive. Last week, we talked about resilience in a way that emphasized how resilience can help us in our personal lives when we cultivate the ability to be humble, accept roadblocks, work with them rather than fight them or ignore them, and live in a community where we are resilient for and with one another, grounded in a love beyond our imagining. Today, we are expanding our understanding of resistance by exploring resilience within the framework of systems thinking, which, if you've never heard of this before, you will be able to begin understanding it by the end of this message, I hope. So I want to start with a story. It's a difficult story that took place here in St. Louis in Jennings in April of 2015. Not even a year after a young black unarmed man was killed by a white police officer in Ferguson, Missouri. And protests erupted in the streets of our city for over a year. And it became known as the Ferguson Uprising. Many of us were part of that uprising. And I hope that this story can help us understand systems thinking and its impact on the different ways we are expected to be resilient and who is expected to be resilient. Among the thousands of people who protested against police brutality, one of them was Thaddeus McCarroll, a 23-year-old black man from Jennings, North County. There are pictures of him protesting. It became a huge part of his life. And he was so impacted by a lifetime of the black men of his community being shot or imprisoned or lost, so impacted by his experience of law enforcement, so impacted by Michael Brown's shooting and the protests that he joined, that he was transformed and became deeply committed to being part of what he called the Black Revolution. A lot of people were deeply impacted by the Ferguson Uprising, and some of you, some of us, are among them. We were impacted by the people we met, the stories we heard, the actions we took part in, the experience of being led by young black leaders, but we were also deeply impacted in the way the story of systemic racism became so clear for those of us who cultivated the eyes to see. We are taught in this country to understand our life experiences as part of an individual pattern, where we are basically the engineers of our destiny. You work hard, you work well, and you will succeed. And similarly, when we fail, when we fall, when we don't reach our mark, it is considered a personal failing that you just weren't strong enough, you just weren't resilient enough to pick yourself up by your bootstraps and go back in there again. But the teaching and experience of the Ferguson Uprising made it clear that this is a lie. It is a lie. And it made it clear to a whole generation of young people that their struggles weren't personal. They weren't failures. They weren't signs of weakness. The shooting of Michael Brown revealed a system that worked so hard to keep black people in their place through shame, aggressive policing, redlining, a whole system of fines, underfunded schools, prisons, racial profiling, and so on. And all these things were enacted systemically through the larger systems that create the society we live in. So to grow through this systemic understanding was a breakthrough moment for many people of all races who were understanding their own lives in a bigger systemic way. That for some became so life-changing and so massive in its significance that it could become traumatic. I mean, imagine growing into the realization that a whole system has evolved to push you down, or that a whole system has evolved to hold you up, and that it constantly erases and manipulates the truth of what happens in your life every single day. And many young people like Thaddeus McCarroll had this awakening and understandably struggled with how to carry it. For Thaddeus, he became more and more agitated. And one night in 2015, Thaddeus had a breakdown. Now, whether it's because he had a history of mental health issues, or whether it's because it just got too hard to bear, or maybe some kind of combination of the above feeding into each other, he had a breakdown. And he barricaded himself inside his mother's home, holding a knife and speaking of a black revolution. He was escalating. And his mom, terrified for him and just wanting to get back in her house, called the police, hoping that they would calm him down and safely get him out. And it took hours, but finally, Thaddeus left the house carrying a Bible and a knife. The police told him to drop the knife, but he didn't. He kept walking. They shot him once with a rubber bullet to try and stop him, but he kept walking. And then they opened fire, and they killed him. Immediately, the police made a public statement that they had tried everything they could to avoid shooting Thaddeus. They had been justified in killing him because he did not comply with their orders and was putting them in danger. But there was fierce resistance to that explanation from neighbors who had been there and spoke to the press on the condition of anonymity because they did not want to be the next target. They had witnessed the police assuring Thaddeus' mother that they would not shoot him. Their goal was to get him out of the house and tase him and then take him to DePaul Hospital for psychiatric help. That is not what happened. And so for these neighbors, this was a broken promise. This was an unnecessary escalation. There had been a plan. The plan had been promised to his mother, and that's not what happened. Well, as you can imagine, social media blew up, and frustration and rage flowed through post after post after post. Here was one more black man killed by police, one more black man killed by the system that refused to acknowledge that racism was at work, and who survived a police encounter and who didn't, and who was deemed dangerous and who was deemed manageable. And I watched a lot of this, wanting to learn, to understand, to connect, and just to witness and affirm, and to prepare for what I was going to say to the people that I serve the next Sunday morning. And someone, meaning well, good intentions, tried to offer hope and comfort and shared this, and I'm paraphrasing. Remember, they said, we are a strong people. We have weathered so much, and we are as resilient as our enslaved ancestors were resilient. We will continue on. And many people loved the comment, rallied to the comment, and claimed their own resilience anchored in their ancestors to continue on. But, this was a big but, there started to emerge these blistering responses from African American women. And I wish I had a screenshot to get the words exactly right, but it is burned into my memory, so I'll paraphrase as best that I can. They said they were sick and tired of being resilient. That as black women, they were always expected to be resilient. They were supposed to be the ones that stood up and said, "Get yourselves up, we are continuing on this path." And they were exhausted from trying to live up to the expectation. Exhausted from pushing themselves over and over again to face hardship by dusting themselves off only to face more. Resilience had become a burden. They didn't want the burden anymore. They wanted to rest, to sit with the grief, to sit with the anger, to take care of themselves and just be. Let someone else carry the burden for a while. In fact, let those who should be carrying the burden carry it for a while. White people. White people. Today, I want us to draw on systems thinking to help us understand that the level of resilience we nurture is often connected to where we are in a system. And I want us to remember as we go through this that our congregation, we are in many places in the system. Although we are predominantly white and middle class, many of us bear the burden and the privilege of white privilege. Okay? It is also a burden in a different way, but we carry that. But we are also a diverse congregation that is not only white and middle class. We are different races. We are wealthy, middle and working class and poor. We are male and female and trans and non-binary and gender fluid. We are heterosexual, gay, lesbian, bisexual, non-binary, queer, ace, and more. We have PhDs and masters, bachelors and associates, certificates and high school degrees, and some of us didn't finish school. We're disabled and temporarily abled. We have secure jobs, insecure jobs, multiple jobs, no jobs. We are in different places in the system. So different kinds of resilience are demanded from all of us. Systems thinking looks at society as an interconnected web of systems, political and economic systems, community systems, educational and legal systems, cultural and religious systems, health systems, transportation systems, ecological systems. They all depend on each other. They're all built together, and we live at the points where they intersect. So social scientists look at these interconnected systems and ask, where are they strong and where do they break down? Which systemic systems are jammed, which are splintering? Where are the joists starting to weaken? And what intersections allow some to cross safely while others fall? If you have power in the system, you have the ability to bypass the intersections that are broken, jammed, splintered, and weak. There is less of a need for you to be systemically resilient. Your survival doesn't depend on it because the system protects you and shelters you. This doesn't mean that your life isn't hard. I mean, life is hard, and personal resilience remains important. But the higher up you are in the system, your life is less likely to be hard because the systems work against you. You get to take a break when you want. You get to pay attention when you want. You can choose to rest and renew when you want. And you can choose to get back into the work or not. But if you have less power in the system, you don't have the same ability to bypass the weakening intersections. The system doesn't protect you and shelter you. You have less control over when and how you can rest and renew. You have to be more systemically vulnerable, and then the need for you to practice systemic resilience is ongoing. And people who have less systemic power often talk, like those black women in those posts, about how tired they get from being hypervigilant, always assessing whether it's safe to be or not to be. That's what it's like when you are lower in the system. And actually, sometimes it is your life. It is your body that is actually holding together where the intersections are weak, where they're splintering, where they're bending, where the joists are starting to crack. Your bodies and your life are holding that together so that the people at the top can keep on bypassing them. As Unitarian Universalists, we anchor in the principle of interdependence. So using a systems approach to help understand what's happening for people, this is not just an intellectual exercise, it is for us a spiritual practice that opens us up to reality. It helps us dispel the fictions that we create about ourselves and each other, because each intersection between systems is people. When the intersections are jammed, it's people being crushed. When intersections splinter, people are falling apart. When the joists weaken, it's people who are being deprived of worthiness and dignity. We often say as Unitarian Universalists that the spark of the divine lies in each human heart. So when we're talking about systems and the people in them, we're talking about holy stuff. We're talking about sacred ground, sacred people, sacred hearts, sacred spirits, sacred souls. So right relationship is very important to us, and we bear presence to that by reading a covenant every Sunday, telling us who we are called to be for each other. We focus on how we are responsible for each other, how we love each other and protect each other, how we help and support each other. And social justice is about working for a vision where fewer and fewer intersections are breaking apart. And the systemic resilience required for living is shared equally. Like in our wisdom story, the bamboo stand bends and rises in harmony. That's what we're striving for, because in human systems, it is not like that. It is not like that. Some bamboo are able to weave and wave and sway, and other bamboos are bent. But that's our vision. Our vision is that the bamboo bends and rises in harmony. It's a bold vision, and it's a vision that human beings have held for as long as we have existed as a species. We yearn for peace and balance. Sometimes we get closer to realizing it, and other times we draw further from it. Excuse me. After the shooting of Thaddeus Clark, debates raged about whether the police were justified in killing him. And something very interesting happened. If you were around at that time, maybe you remember this. The London, England police released a video of how they had been trained to disarm people with weapons. And they had a video of how they disarmed an agitated man waving a machete without firing a shot, and then helped him access the health care he needed. And they finished off by saying, "We extend you an invitation. We're happy to come over there and train you any day of the week if you want to learn this. We're here for you. So you stop killing people because you don't need to." It was pretty amazing to have that come from law enforcement. You do not hear that hardly ever in American law enforcement. But in this video, these police officers, they shared the responsibility for systemic resilience with the community they had promised to serve and protect. Imagine if the officers who engaged Thaddeus McConnell had been trained and prepared, maybe even looking forward to doing that and helping him, helping his mother. Thaddeus McConnell would likely still be alive and hopefully getting the care he needed and still engaged in the work of ending systemic racism. So what can we do here and now with the challenges we are facing? Understanding the systemic nature of our lives and where it places us. You know, things are really messed up. We know they are, and we know they're getting worse. Every week there are new outrages, new lows, and the range of people who are more vulnerable is growing as our government turns on more of us. And the government is turning on more of us. More people are being caught in the crosshairs. And some of us who used to feel safe and secure are seeing our place in the system shift. Maybe we haven't needed much systemic resilience. And if we haven't needed it and haven't practiced it, it can feel incredibly overwhelming. Well, it's time for us to learn it. You know, it's time to build some of that systemic grit. Time to take on more of the responsibility for carrying systemic resilience that others have been carrying for us, because they need to rest and renew, recover and ground in their inherent worthiness and dignity. And if you have experienced yourself as more vulnerable and have had to be systemically resilient for a long time, you deserve to rest and renew. You deserve time to think and feel and care for yourself so that you are restored to resilience instead of being worn down by it. In fact, there is a name for this kind of self-care. It's called pleasure activism. Pleasure activism, which becomes an act of countercultural resistance by those who are the ones expected to be resilient over and over and over again. And your decision to stop, to take care of yourself, to reflect, to take time, is an act of resilience itself. And then the rest of us are supposed to, like those bamboo stalks, ebb and flow, while the ones that are having a harder time getting up have a time to rest. You know, we all deserve that, and some of us deserve it a lot. This week, I want each of us to reflect on our capacity for a bigger kind of resilience, systemic resilience. Is it time for you to grow into it? Or are you getting tired and it's time to rest, renew, breathe, and recenter? And maybe you are in need of both. Next week, we will draw on a Buddhist understanding of resilience to offer wisdom on how we can nurture our capacity for the kind of systemic resilience that renews as much as it strengthens. But until then, I want you to think about it. I want you to think about where you are in the system. Think about whether you need to be the one growing your grit in community, that's what we do here, or if it's time to rest. But regardless of where you find yourself, and especially where you find yourself, know that you are loved. Know that you are strong. Know that you don't have to be strong always. And know that true resilience is always anchored in community and in our love for each other, and that we are not meant to be resilient alone. May it be so. Amen and blessed be.
Hello. Hi, hello. How are we doing? Good. Really quickly, I wanted to take the time to acknowledge my friends earlier who got to come and sing for us. And they are Jalen Davis, Becca Ford, and Elena Epps. They sing with me in the St. Louis Symphony in Unison Chorus, and it is my greatest joy to come and bring them here to sing for you all. So, all right, last thing. Oh, shucks. We're going to do this in a round. I should have said that. That's why Beth is up here. So we'll do it in a two-part round. I'll lead this half. She'll lead this half. But we'll sing it all together once first. There is a love holding me. There
Please join me in extinguishing our chalice and share our benediction. I have something. We extinguish this chalice, but not the light of truth, the warmth of community, or the fire of commitment. These we carry in our hearts until we are together again. And now, may the Spirit of life hold you, may love bless you, and may joy find a place in your days. Love to you all. Go in peace.